Grave Tone.
Welcome to Grave Tone Podcast, where horror comes to life in every form it takes. I'm Megan.
And I'm Arthur.
And we have a super special bonus episode today.
Bonus!
We are going to be, we had an interview recently, I should say, with...
the one and only
Mark Acheson.
Mark Acheson.
Yeah.
A name that should be known by a lot of people because he has been almost everywhere.
A very prolific screen actor with, a career that spans basically 40 years at this point.
Yeah, exactly. You know him from Elf.
Yeah.
He's been in Fargo.
Yeah.
He's been in the latest installment of Silent Night, Deadly Night, which was actually pretty great. He was the voice. Really cool voice, by the way.
Also the physical,
it's
presence
also true.
of Charlie in the film. So that was sort of what had prompted our reaching out to him, because we really, if you go back and listen to that episode from December when the film premiered, we gave it a lot of love. And we did a whole ranking of the series. It was really fun. So that was great. And Mark was kind enough to come on and chat with us a little bit about acting and filmmaking and the whole process of this film and everything else that he's done. So
it's very interesting because he's done a majority of his work on this movie was voice work, but he's also done some physical work. So it's it was a unique combination of things that he hasn't done in the past. So that story is very, very interesting.
Yeah. So anyway, stick around, check out that episode, and then we'll be back at the end of things to wrap it up. Mark Acheson, thank you so much for hopping on with us. We really appreciate you taking the time to chat with us a bit about, some of your work in general, but maybe one of your more recent roles also.
Silent Night, Deadly Night.
Yeah. Large.
Oh, yeah.
So we've only seen the film once so far, but obviously came out in December and is kind of a remake, but not like a straightforward remake of the original film from the 80s. Were you, before you became involved with the production, were you aware of the franchise? Had you seen any of the movies? Did you kind of know what they were?
No. No. I got the script and the audition a year before we actually started shooting.
Okay.
I thought the project had vanished. And then Mike P. Got the funding somewhere else and resurrected it. And he called me back a year later. But no, I had no knowledge of the franchise before that.
Okay. Did you look into it at all, or did you just kind of roll with this as a remake sort of on its own, as its own thing? I don't want to, mix up too much different stuff.
Yeah, no. I mean, after the fact, for sure. I wanted to see sort of the legacy and what was there before. But it appears to me right off the bat that Mike P. Nelson had designed and written a vehicle that was sort of outside the box of where it sort of had been before, which I kind of thought was cool. I really did.
Yeah, I think we both, we were really big fans of this one when we saw it. We did a watch through of all of the films in the franchise.
Kind of insane.
Before the release of this one, which was interesting to kind of get into some of the later sequels that get a little more bonkers as time goes on. But I guess what we found was kind of really cool about this entry was, one, that it's not like a shot-for-shot remake. It vaguely follows the original story of the first film, but it
but very loosely,
yeah, that's it. And it, in the addition of changing some of the backstory of Billy's character, but then also the introduction of your character Charlie into the mix, it kind of it adds a much more sympathetic lens to what could be a very traditional, very straightforward slasher. It's just a killer Santa Claus who's murdering people because he's crazy. But this movie really twists that around and is hey, maybe the person who's doing this in a Santa suit is not the crazy person in the mix here.
Who'd have thunk that they'd add me as a softening agent to a movie? But that's sort of how it came out, which made it even more fun for me to do.
Yeah, that's it. So I don't know very much about the industry just as a whole that way. How did everything work for you in terms of, since this is largely a voice role for you, how did that work in terms of the setup and I guess timing for everything for you? Had they are you aware, had they filmed everything and then you kind of added the vocals after the fact, or had you already recorded everything when they were filming?
No, we did the recording afterwards. I was there for some of the principal photography, but of course not much.
Okay, so I wanted to double check because we've only seen it once, and I was trying to remember. I was like, "Are you in that initial
You missed me,
scene?"
of course, yeah.
Yeah, you are in the initial scene. You do. That's it. You have the Santa suit on, like in the first, like sort of opening of the film.
Yeah, that's me shooting, and that's me getting stabbed in the neck and all that kind of thing. Yeah, that's me.
Nice.
That's
my
fun.
usual stick.
That's fun because you get to do a little bit of both that way, kind of get a vibe for the set itself, but then also because everything else you're doing is kind of so separate from everybody else who's on set actually doing any of the physical stuff.
Yeah, and I mean, I knew that I had a lot more work to do, but I didn't know exactly when that was going to happen. And I was really kind of like, okay, I love doing this, but when are we going to do, the voiceover work? And
right.
That was really keen to me as to when that would happen. And this was unique. The whole thing was unique. I've done lots of voiceover work. I've done lots of cartoons and stuff like that, and I've done enough lens work. I've done lots of parts on films and TV, but I never had this combo, and I wanted it so bad because to be honest with you, Mike P. Nelson wrote a script that had some chops in it that a guy like me just looks like it's like breakfast. I mean, I saw these lines like when he says the name of the town, Hackett. I like the sound of that. I mean, it was just right. I mean, well, what can you do? You love this guy right off, and so that's everything was shot, and then 3 months later, he brings a recording studio to my house.
Oh wow!
Way out here. And for a whole day, I had my own recording studio outside my house. I had never had that before, and we did the whole thing, And I didn't know how it was going to turn out in the final cut because you never do. I mean, a lot of it could be edited out or whatever, but it was all there, and it was a lot of fun to do, and I was really proud to be a part of this thing.
Yeah, it's just a cool take on this type of film to have, like, because you have a combination. It's a slasher, but it almost has like a Dexter sort of feel to it.
Yeah, Dexter and Venom is a thing I heard a lot. With Dexter or Venom, right? And I thought, oh man, I want to be in that company.
Yeah.
So it was great.
Oh no, it's awesome. It's cool because the addition. It's weird because it's just a voice in someone's head to a degree, but the addition of your character existing in the movie just automatically makes the Billy character that much more sympathetic, especially when actual motivations and an understanding of the reasons that the killings happen are provided, later in the movie when we're actually given to understand why is he actually doing this? Why was Charlie doing it before? Because you do at the beginning of the movie, it looks really similar to the original film, and so you're just like, oh god, this is just like a horrible person who's murdered this kid's parents, but you actually had an extremely good reason for doing it. Like the character does this for a good reason, which I wasn't expecting to happen, and then transfers that sort of ability to Billy and works with him in tandem. I don't know, it was just like a really cool mashup of things, and probably, I can assume anyway, for you, an interesting mashup of having voice work to do, but then also having actual on set, like live action work to be doing at the same time.
Yeah, but I just I loved Rowan's work in this thing, and somehow he acted like he was hearing me, like right when I was doing it. I did it later, man. I mean, he filmed all of that before. He was amazing, and I also thought he and Ms. Modine's characters actually connected in a real kind of way.
Yeah.
But the biggest compliment I got was Mike P. Nelson's wife.
Mm-hmm.
And she wrote me a little note, and she said, Mark, I'm not a big fan of, horror. That's not my genre if I'm looking at movies,
Mm-hmm.
And I sort of, I was similar to her in that I had not seen a lot of horror movies. She said, you gave him an ethic, you gave him a moral compass. and that was really, really cool, and I really liked it because of that. That was the best thing that a person could have told me about that, because usually I just get killed and I leave. That's my shtick, you know. I've been killed so many times I can't even count. But usually I just kill, I leave, and I'm gone. It's all good. But this time, you know, it was a real character, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it like a lot.
Yeah, and it had such a memorable voice. Like we still think about it. It's amazing. I think it was the perfect selection for the voice and everything. Even Meaghan, when we were leaving, she was saying that what was that book?
I was saying you should, if you've not done any. I don't know if you've done any audiobook work, but it would be so great if you did, because I feel like you'd be really well suited.
I've been approached a couple of times, but I guess I tried to do it, and it seemed like a lot of work. And I mean, you have to. Yeah, I think you have to be a harder worker, more intelligent person than me. But I really did enjoy this. If I can get any narration work or anything later on, if people think my voice lends something, but I had a gas doing it. And I always know that if you're having fun, usually the people that are listening to it are having fun too. So
it's true. Yeah.
100%.
It was the delivery and sort of like, you know, the cadence and everything, because Charlie is so even keeled in Billy's head when he gets sort of manic and things, that you're able to do that. And it's true. It's crazy to think that, you know, Rohan Campbell in particular, it almost felt as though you were like on set reading your lines to him, and you guys were bouncing off of each other. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I thought when I first got it, I thought maybe they'll have me on set, you know, like reading lines. No. Because they didn't have a lot of money, and that's totally understandable. But Rohan, I mean, he acted like he had me in his head already, and that's spooky. I mean, a lot of things are luck and great, and well, that's sort of in my life anyway. I mean, a very lucky person. But this one was especially good because I didn't see it coming, and it was even better than I thought it would be.
Yeah, it was such a fun one. And now you can add it to, of course, your lexicon of Christmas movies that you've been in because of like work like Elf and things like that. Very different tone, but also a movie that people can watch every year, you know?
Yeah. It's a different kind of take, you know. Actually, I thought I'd been blacklisted from all Christmas movies, since Elf, because, you know, I got identified with that. And then all of a sudden this comes along and I go, okay, this is the yin to the yang. I'm going to be good.
Way to get back into it a little bit, the way to do something else. Yeah, that's it, without being associated with one of the most famous, I would say, Christmas movies of the last like 20, 25 years, basically.
Again, somebody get me a lottery ticket. I mean, seriously, you know, lucky. That's all.
Yeah. Do you mind if I ask how you got into acting in the first place?
Well, I mean, because that's all I saw myself doing. Even I went, I always thought of myself doing acting. I think 12 years old, I was doing, junior high school plays and stuff. And I went right into theater school at 15 and did stage for 15 years before film and TV even came along. And then got addicted to that. And then voiceover work. And then, it's just been one thing after another. I mean, I'm very blessed to have had so much work in a very difficult environment and had such a plethora of different kind of parts to play, It's really cool.
That's awesome. Do you find overall, because like Charlie is so singular in that it's part live action and part voice work, but do you find how's your prep feel for you, whether you're doing a live action role on camera versus the prep for a voice role, either through animation or a video game or anything like that? Because I know you've done some of all of that.
Well, I have to be honest. I'm approaching my 69th birthday.
Okay. Happy almost birthday.
And so the on camera, physical roles are not the ones that I'm, hunting for. But voiceover work and cartoons are always fun. Mm-hmm. But there's a lot of people that do that. This was the kismet. it had all the factors that I was able to get in on and enjoy.
Yeah.
And I constantly tell Mike P. Nelson, thank you, thank you, thank you. I really am appreciative.
That's awesome. That's really cool.
That's really cool. Seriously. You've kind of dabbled, I guess, a little bit into horror now. Is there any kind of franchises you would like to work on in the future?
Anyone that sees what I can bring and wants it there, which is really what happened. Like I said, I thought the Silent Night was dead because I hadn't heard from it for a year. But Mike P. Nelson had it in his mind, okay, whatever happens, I'll get this money and I'll figure this out. But that guy, I want to do my voice. So if anybody has that kind of feeling about me or my work or stuff like that, that's the project I want to be on. But I don't ride any horses anymore. I don't do any more motorcycle stuff. I don't do any more of my even quasi stunts anymore. Those things are long, long gone, because if I didn't kill myself, my wife would kill me, knowing that I even tried to do those things. So I don't go anywhere near them. But voice work, I think, is the thing I really like to do, like as I'm semi-retired and just enjoying the life I've had.
That's awesome. Yeah, absolutely. I totally get it. From like you had an extensive career, like, and you said you're reaching 69. What would you say was kind of like one of the most memorable moments for you in acting?
Well, I mean, I can't get past Elf because I was lucky enough to get into a true film classic.
Yes.
I mean, that just doesn't happen, and I did, and most of it was improv, and it was a magical 22 hours one day that I can't even explain, but it all just kind of went from one thing to another. There's a scene in Elf that they never showed where Will Ferrell pulls down a water main while he's dancing on the table.
Oh, yeah.
And they do a shot of me doing a flash dance with a full thing of water.
That like fall.
Just on me, sitting in a chair, singing a Christmas carol at full volume with all this water, and they had dams built around the whole set and everything. And that was the end of my day that day. But that's how crazy that it changed my whole career. Crazy. They just asked me to come in and do one line with Will Ferrell, and I didn't even audition for that part. And I came in, and then all of a sudden, it was these extra things and extra lines and ad-libbing, and all of a sudden I'm going into auditions and people are going, "Ow, ow," and the doors were knocked down for me. And so, I've had lots. I mean, I really enjoyed playing Tripoli and Fargo because we won 3 Emmys with that, and I thought my work was really solid in that. And just being in Washington with Zack Snyder, who's a true visionary, to be in that science fiction movie with him, and Chronicles of Riddick, which is really cool to be in that. But again, a lucky man. I kept on picking up lottery tickets, and I kept on scratching, and they kept on winning.
Nice.
What can I tell you?
Yeah. That's beautiful. That's absolutely amazing.
It is, yeah. And I feel like, even going into something like Elf, it's one of those many times that I'm sure this happens with a lot of films that now we know is like very iconic for one reason or another, where going in, there isn't really necessarily an idea that this will be extremely successful. There's not necessarily an awareness of that when you're making the film. It's just what happens to come after. And I'm sure that must be a crazy thing to see happen, like the level of success that something like that achieves.
Oh yeah, I mean, we shot it. I think that was done in like April or May, the very last day, and like all of a sudden in November, December, I'm walking around, and then the whole planet. Around here had changed, right? People are coming up because it was in the movie theaters, and you never thought it would be. But even after that, it grew and grew, had a life of its own. It was a truly great thing to be lucky to be a small part of, and it'll probably be on my gravestone. It really will.
Oh, that's good. That's great. I guess if we just want to kind of like look ahead at things, is there anything in particular other than like just sort of like small stuff that comes up? Is there anything in particular that you're working on or waiting on at the moment?
No, I'm truly enjoying my life. I am married and newly married actually after being alone for a long time.
Congratulations.
And enjoying semi-retirement quite a bit. I will say this though, that my wife helped me audition for Silent Night, Deadly Night right from the very beginning, right from the very first time we got the sides. She was the one that read the little girl scene where I'm pretending in the Santa Claus outfit and everything like that, the pink roller skater. Oh, she was reading those lines, right? And so she was there the whole time. And whenever I think about this, I think about the fact that, my wife probably had a lot to do with me getting it.
That's awesome. Oh, that's so great.
Awesome,
So I guess just to wrap things up, we just have like a couple of, I don't know, rapid fire
stuff. Just for fun questions.
Just for fun. Yeah, that's it. I know you did mention it's not really strictly your genre, but do you have a favorite horror film?
Horror films. I tend to like the classics, but there's some that made me very, very scared, and but I the one with Linda Blair, she turns her head. The Poltergeist.
The Exorcist.
Poltergeist. That was Exorcist, Poltergeist.
Yes.
I did 8 episodes on a series called Brand New Cherry Flavor, where I played this zombie, and that had some really weird stuff in it because I was on the other side of that. I was making animatronic things, working my hand, and there was people's heads coming about, and I actually ate this guy's head. And I was trying to, okay, do I put my fingers here or there? I mean, and I'm, it's really gross, right? But there's an etiquette to how you eat in the head. Anyway, and so, and the guy was still on set, right? But his head was right there, and I was going, this looks just like you, man. It looks crazy. I just think movie time is magic. We all look at movies to escape. Sci-fi is the thing that I enjoy the most to watch. I've only been in a few shows, but I really enjoy watching really good sci-fi. Maybe Prometheus is my favorite sci-fi movie, something like that.
Great. Awesome. Yeah. I'm also a big fan of sci-fi, so I get it.
This is just like a small little one. Are there any from all of the projects that you've worked on over the years? Do you have any props or anything from set that you've ever kept?
Yeah. Oh, you mean swag and
anything that you maybe quote unquote left with that the props master was looking for later?
They actually they're very generous. Like if you're on certain shows, right? I did a movie called Trixie that Robert Altman directed, and they let me keep the John Fluebog shoes, which were really, really cool at the time. And then I did a movie called Samurai Cowboy, and like the big jacket. Let me have that. And Tom Selleck in a Western sent me a belt buckle. With a belt, because he beat the crap out of me. He beat the crap out of me. I was still young then, and I said, "Sure, I can do this stunt." Anyway, so I found out that it involved my head going through a cabinet with candy glass and stuff like that, and then over here, and he beat and he sent me a really nice belt buckle and
an apology buckle.
Yeah,
he's just so happy beat me up.
Wow, Wow. Oh God. Yeah. I can only imagine the crazy stories that come from this. And I guess my last question would be, this would probably be a bit difficult for you to just think of off the top of your head, but of all the characters that you've played over the years, is there a character that you would least like to meet in person?
That I would least likely meet if I was playing that person. I played a lot of bad guys.
That's it, right?
I feel like it's a difficult choice to make.
The guy, there was a sci-fi series. I just did a little bit where I was a vampire, and I had to eat a horse.
Oh God!
Wow, that's a lot. That's a lot
and people wouldn't think that's traumatic, but they actually had me like laying there, right? And they go like, be nice to the horse, right? But when you look back to the camera, really be like, crazy, right?
Okay.
And so I would do this thing where I would like really be nice to the horse, and then turning back to, and then they blew my head off while I was chained up. And I remember that guy would not be anybody I could deal with. I mean, there's no talking to him. It's all eat, kill, kill, kill. And so he's probably the person I would. And then, a cartoon character, maybe Lord Tyrek or Sabretooth in Marvel.
Okay, yeah.
Really bad villains where, they just hate everybody.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay. Well, listen, thank you so much for taking a few minutes to chat with us. We really appreciate it. You were fantastic in Silent Night, Deadly Night. I think that was kind of what prompted us to reach out really in the first 100%. Place, because your performance was so great, even though you're barely on camera, but it was just so memorable.
That doesn't matter. Like I said, the voice aspect of it and just the character that it created, even that you don't really see that character, that was,
He really was
like I appreciate it so much, and it was my pleasure to support this because it was a great concept, a great script. The cast was incredible, and the way it was shot was wonderful too. And I think it speaks for itself. I mean, I've seen it once since then again. And I think it's really, really good work. I do, I mean, not my stuff. I mean, like everything, and the way it meshes together, the way it ties itself up at the end. And of course, it's sitting there for a sequel, like you're like Bo Rack for somebody to do a sequel.
It's so
my God.
But it
won't involve me, that's for sure. But there's a sequel out there for sure.
You never know. They can always find a way to horror always finds a way to retcon certain things and bring people back in some capacity. So hey, who knows? Who knows what could happen? Thank you again to Mark for coming on and talking with us. That was such a fun and interesting conversation. I love being able to get people's perspectives throughout like different points of their career and like the different aspects of projects that they've been able to work on. It's always so cool. So this was such a fun chat to have.
Yeah, it was seriously great. Thank you so much again. And
I mean, check out all of Mark's stuff. If you haven't watched the new Silent Night, Deadly Night, definitely check it out. And, take a look through his IMDb because he has a pretty prolific career and you've probably seen him or heard his voice in something before. And I think you'd be surprised. So anyway, as usual, obviously, this is sort of like a little bonus for us, but at the end of this week, we're going to come at you with a review of The Bride. I'm really excited. I'm so looking forward to that. So we're going to have that coming your way, and everything else that's going on for, the rest of the month of March. Everything's crazy. So,
Fact.
Yeah,
always. Fact forever.
Always. In the meantime, as usual, you can check out all of our socials. We're at Gravetone Pod everywhere that you can search for us. And you can also check out the website at gravetonepod.com. Check out the episodes over there. You can check out our horror movie quiz picker if ever you're in the mood to just find something to watch tonight and you want to take a look at that. It's a really fun little extra that we've added to the site. But until next time, guys, stay scared and stay tuned.
Ciao, guys.